Let's face it, every classroom has its challenges. No matter the students, subject, or school, it's in every teacher's best interest to have a variety of teaching strategies at their fingertips. In 2020, we wrote an article for 10 effective strategies that became quite popular. Today, we're adding a few more to the list and highlighting some old favorites. Follow our link in the description for the complete list, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below as we touch on strategy number 1, active learning. It's easy for students to disconnect when they aren't doing anything. So active learning aims to keep them constantly engaged in class. As a bonus, lots of experts say it can also be helpful to teachers since you'll be more engaged as well. Active learning is really an umbrella term for a bundle of smaller approaches. But some of the most common are 1. Reciprocal questioning. This is where students come up with questions for the class on a recent lesson or concept. Another is the pause procedure, where you take a break every 10 to 15 minutes so that students can have time to discuss, ask questions, or solve problems. Or the relatable example. This is where you ask students to provide real-world scenarios that demonstrate the utility of what you're teaching. Another great teaching strategy is to implement classroom gamification. Since it's an effective way to take students' love for play and turn it into a love of learning, the benefits are huge. Gamification helps students focus, build essential skills, and stay motivated in the classroom. In order to effectively use gamification techniques in your classroom, start with your students. What do they like? What are their learning needs? Are there any notable behavior issues? There are several ways to gamify the classroom, whether it's in a platform or your own unique system. As long as it's structured, clear, and fun, you can't go wrong. Now, maybe you like the idea of gamification and active learning, but you want something that you can apply in the next 10 minutes because lunch is ending soon. And in that case, modeling as you teach is an excellent option. An estimated 65% of people are visual learners. So when presenting a new subject to your class, a little demonstration can go a long way. In certain classes, this is practically required. For example, when you're teaching math, you usually need to display your work on the board. If you don't, some students will be completely lost. Demonstrations, though, should not be restricted to math and science, nor should they be limited to the board. Why not do a bit of acting in history? Create a rough mock-up of a region for geography, or if you're teaching a language, give yourself a couple of props to set the scene. Life is much more interesting with context, and your students will love you for it. Our last teaching strategy here isn't used a lot in classes either, but it has a great appeal amongst learners, and that's intentional mistakes. When you're presenting lesson plans, you usually show the right way to do things, and this is a great way to introduce a concept. But if you want to teach in-depth understanding, we recommend making intentional mistakes and then ask the class to find and fix them. For example, if you are a language teacher, you can write a short paragraph on the board and riddle it with grammar and spelling mistakes. Then ask your students to identify these mistakes and rewrite that paragraph correctly. This method requires students to apply the knowledge they've gained in class, and it gives you a chance to evaluate how well each student comprehends the subject. There you have it. These are just a few teaching strategies that you can use in class that engage your students and address their different learning styles. We only discussed 4 here, so check out our article in the description for even more ideas and inspiration. Also, we'd love to hear about any other strategies that you've been using, so feel free to drop a comment below to share your insights with us and other teachers. We'll see you next time.